how do we actually demonstrate to ourselves that we matter? I know that we're really good at being able to say things like, yes, I believe I matter. But those are words. And you know that the most important thing, you've heard me say this before, I'm sure, that the most important thing I can teach anybody is this one thing. The truth is what you do. Not what you say, but what you do. Saying it is a good start because it instills in you a desire or an idea or a thought or a beginning. But until you actually take action on it, it has nothing. So when you say, yes, I know I matter, then there must be a way to demonstrate that to yourself on a daily basis that will help you feel confident that you are doing it, that you'll feel competent that you're doing that, you'll feel comfortable that you're doing it, and you'll be happy about that. And you'll feel good, and you'll feel supported. And that's all part of becoming a really healthy adult. So today I want to talk to you about how to demonstrate that you matter to yourself. So I have 5 ways. Now, the first one you've heard of, no problem. Self-care. And we all know that old adage that people like to make New Year's resolutions about how they're going to exercise more, and then they never do, or they do it for 3 weeks, or they go on a food program for 3 weeks, and then they quit. Let's think about what that really is. First of all, maybe you overshot. Maybe you made a big, huge plan that you were hoping that you could continue with, and you find out it was unrealistic. So maybe you need to modify your goal, modify what it is your promise to yourself is. However, why do we quit on those things? Because we let other people and other priorities take over. Now, sure, that happens every now and again. Maybe we have a sick child, or we have somebody that we need to take care of, or we have an event that comes up, something that we then recalibrate. We say, okay, for this one day, this will be more important than my promise to exercise every day. But we don't have that tendency. For most people, what they tell me is that they blow it and then they don't go at it again. Oh, there I go. Well, now I'm off the wagon. Now I'm not doing it. Now I won't go back on it. But, as soon as you finish enjoying that thing you wanted to eat that you know is bad for you, simply start your program again in the next moment with the next mouthful. Don't start on Monday. Don't start someday, because that's not anything on the calendar. Just recommit to your promise to yourself. So self-care, that could be exercise. Did you hear that recent research out of Canada a week or so ago? That you must keep your legs moving if you want to have healthy brain health. Okay, so the research was talking about that even if you're down with the flu for a week, that may be too long to keep your brain healthy, that you need to be moving. Okay, moving doesn't have to be something extensive. You don't need a gym membership for that. Walk 10 times around your house every 2 hours, or go outside and walk your dog, or run in place, or do 20 jumping jacks every couple of hours. Do something. Don't fall into a habit of self-talk that says, well, I'm not keeping my promise to myself, so now I'm going to quit on myself. The self-care becomes important. It's whether we exercise, what we eat, that we get enough sleep. So much research around sleep. What prevents you from getting good sleep? One of the things that I've learned about getting good sleep for me is that I always have a small light on. And yes, I know you can read all kinds of research that says, no, you should always sleep in a completely dark room. But for me, having had a lot of abuse in my background, having a small light on when I can open my eyes and see what's in the room is comforting. Another thing is I'm highly auditory. So to have absolutely nothing that I need to listen to, that will help me go to sleep. You need to figure the things out for yourself. So sleep, food, exercise. Of course, are you in toxic relationships? Self-care demands that you not be. That's a big one. And I have podcasts about that. Not only emotional savvy, but save your sanity. And you can find Save Your Sanity and Emotional Savvy anywhere that you prefer to download your podcast. But if you're in a toxic relationship, it needs attention. You don't deserve to be in a toxic relationship. So you demonstrate to yourself that you don't deserve that by taking steps to strengthen yourself, to empower yourself, to encourage yourself to step away. Whether that's emotionally stepping away or actually physically stepping away, you can calibrate that and figure out what your best next steps are. But take advantage of that kind of self-care. Don't be in toxic relationships. So self-care of all kinds. Then the second thing that I want to talk to you about is self-time. You might think that that's self-care, and yes, it overlaps, but self-time, are you actually taking out time for yourself? Do you put it in your calendar? Or do you just get the leftover time at the end of the day and then find there never is any? Do you actually take time to just do things for yourself, to complete things for yourself, to make yourself a priority? Many people don't. They will do anything for anybody else before they will create self-time just for themselves. So self-care and self-time. And then another important one is self-reflection in that self-time. When I talk about meditation or self-time, or as Charles and I wrote about in the book Soul Solitude, taking time for your souls to catch up, just simply sitting, falling silent and listen, many people are actually afraid of meeting themselves there. They're not so concerned about meeting the divine or meeting the universe, but they're very concerned about meeting themselves. And they have taught themselves that they don't have to really think about who they are, what they want, what they value, what their vision of their life is. They don't have to think about those things if they keep themselves very busy. And on the flip side, they don't have to think about what they're not doing that they could be doing, or that they're in an unhealthy situation and they need to take some self-care and self-time to figure out how to get out of it. So self-reflection. Do I like myself today? Am I living from my values? Do I know what my values are? How am I demonstrating my values? What's my vision for my life? Do I know what would be my ideal life? Who would be in it? What are my beliefs? What do I believe spiritually, of course, but what do I believe about the world and the way the world works? And what do I believe about money? And what do I believe about relationships? And what do I believe about families? All of those beliefs have to come into being you. Not living up to the expectations of other people, but being you. So self-care, self-time, self-reflection. Do I really appreciate the fact that I am here? I have the right to take up space and draw breath. And am I using it to my fullest and best advantage? Am I happy with the way I'm doing life? The only way you can figure that out is in self-reflection. And then number 4, self-reliance. Can you rely on yourself? I remember when I was in the 12th grade, and I had a fabulous English teacher. I remember her. Her name was Mrs. Haramia, and she had us read Emerson's essay on self-reliance. And whoa, that was a big wake-up call to me. It changed things for me at that early age. To be self-reliant, to know that you can count on yourself, that you can actually count on yourself, that I will do what I say I will do. I will be the person that I want to be, that I will respond to circumstances and people in the way that I am happy with, that I feel content with, that I am proud of. Many times in my Facebook groups or in my private clients, people will say, well, I did this and I'm not happy with it. Okay, use that self-reflection time to say, I wasn't happy with the way I responded. Do I need skills? Do I need insights? Do I need help? What do I need so that I could shift that into something I am happy with? In all the work that I do with helping people with toxic relationships, many times people have to relearn how to respond, because we get into a pattern of responding emotionally when we're with a hijackal, a difficult, toxic person. And then they've really got our number. They get power and control over us by getting us to get angry. And maybe what you want to do is to not get angry, to not get emotionally involved in that situation. That's a very good idea, to simply be able to step back and say, no, I'm not going to do it that way. And you want to be able to count on yourself for that. So that's where the self-reliance comes in. But it takes practice. Practice makes progress. So you want to be doing that. To be self-reliant means that I know I'm safe with me. That's a big deal. Not all of us were raised to be safe with ourselves. Not all of us feel safe with ourselves. We're always looking for someone to keep us safe. The self-reliance calls us to be doing everything that we can to be safe with ourselves, to be in relationships that are safe, to be in a place where we move away from anything that is toxic or anything that could be harmful to us. And that we naturally do that because we care about ourselves. So self-care, self-time, self-reflection, self-reliance. And the fifth thing I wanted to share with you today is self-direction. When you're self-reliant, you can have self-direction. You will be able to say, here's where I'm going. Here's how I'm going to get there, because you spent the time in self-reflection. And it doesn't matter what other people want. You're not here to live up to the expectations of other people. You're here to live a self-directed life. And I don't mean that you're not going to live from your guidance or from your intuition or whatever it is, but it's yours. It's what came to you. It didn't be something that other people told you was a good idea or someone told you to do, unless you paid them to tell you and you're happy with that. But self-direction means, no, this is what I'm doing now. Yes, there are people who would like me to go in 10 other directions, but no, I'm self-directed. I choose what I do. I choose how I spend my time. I choose how I show up, and I will be self-directed about that. Sometimes people get really hazy about self-direction because they don't want to make a plan because they think they will be excluding options. That whole FOMO thing, the fear of missing out. Well, if I go down this path for a while, all these other things I won't be able to do. Don't worry, these things will be waiting for you. Self-direction means that you choose a path and you follow it until you know you don't want to follow it any longer because it's not serving you. And then you decide again. It's not about quitting. It's about you being self-directed. All right, I thought I wanted this, or this is working really well and I'm going to do more of it. But be very self-directed. Like I said, you're not here to live up to the expectations of others. You're an adult. You live up to your own expectations of yourself. And if they're not very high, raise them up. Do more. You can do that. You have that power. So I just wanted to encourage you to use these 5 ways: self-care, self-time, self-reflection, self-reliance, and self-direction, to demonstrate to yourself that you matter, because you do. You have every right to take up space and draw breath. As I said in another episode, you have every right to say what you think, feel, need, and want, as long as you don't include the word you in it to speak of another human. That's simply the right to be assertive. And you have the right to live an assertive, self-directed life, where you call the shots, where you make the choices, where you live up to your potential, where you empower yourself. And I hope that you will. I'm Dr. Rhoberta Shaler. You can find me at FOR Relationship Help, HELP.com. See the YouTube channel by the same name, For Relationship Help. And visit where you prefer to get your podcasts and download Emotional Savvy and save your sanity. I look forward to talking with you again soon, and thanks for spending this time with me.